Emerging information indicates that responsibility lies with Iran.
The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations telling the UN Security Council Monday there is no evidence Saturday's attack on Saudi oil facilities came from Yemen, reiterating comments from U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo after the Houthi group that controls Yemen's capital claimed responsibility for the blasts. The attack knocked out more than half of Saudi Arabia's oil production and damaged the world's largest crude processing plant. Donald Trump says the U.S. is locked and loaded to hit back, depending on verification.
Have you seen evidence, proof that Iran was behind the attack?
Well, it's looking that way. We'll have some pretty good, we're having some very strong studies done, but it's certainly looking that way at this moment, and we'll let you know. As soon as we find out definitively, we'll let you know, but it does look that way.
Iran's foreign ministry rejected U.S. accusations that Iran was behind the attack, saying the allegations were part of a maximum falsehood policy. Satellite images released by the U.S. government show the damages caused following the attack on the Aramco oil gas facility.
This is frankly terrifying.
United Nations Yemen envoy Martin Griffiths told the UN group that it was not entirely clear who was behind the attack. The envoy getting support from Canada through a spokesperson, Global Affairs Canada, saying in part, Canada is very concerned by the drone attacks launched into Saudi Arabia on Saturday. We urge all parties to redouble their efforts to resume negotiations to bring a peaceful end to the conflict in Yemen, and we fully support the efforts of Martin Griffiths, the UN Special Envoy for Yemen. Back to oil. What could the attacks mean to global supply? And what does it all mean for the average consumer, the Canadian at the pumps? We put those questions to 680 News senior business editor Mike Epple.
Well, from a daily production standpoint, we're talking 5.7 million barrels of output, and that is, historically speaking, the most ever. It's more than what the market lost during the Gulf War back in the 90s or any other conflict in the Middle East. So the reaction in the market was incredibly dramatic, with the price for oil at one point up by as much as 19%. What does it mean for consumers? Well, the bottom line is you're going to be paying more at the gas pumps. By how much? It's a guesstimate at this point. It's got to ripple through the wholesale price and then to the consumer level. Probably going to see a 4 or 5 cent price spike middle of the week, and then perhaps even more on top of that going forward through the week.